Keystone Causeway.
Pressure is mounting on the state of Oregon over a dysfunctional ObamaCare website. That state is yet to properly sign up a single person for health insurance online, despite receiving $160 million in taxpayer money. Now there's a call for a federal investigation, and Jay Sekulow is the chief counsel of the American Center for Law and Justice in Nashville, Tennessee. How you doing, Jay? And good day to you.
Hey, Bill.
They call it a clawback at the federal level when they go in there and they bring money back and they give it to people that it rightfully belongs to. Can you do such a clawback in a case like this?
Well, in a situation like this, I think the first thing you'd have to do a recoupment of the funds that have been given is for the GAO, Government Accounting Office, to do an investigation to see what happened. Because, as you said, they've hundreds of millions of dollars spent, not a single sign-up. I mean, basically, it's like you've got these fake front pages of websites, but no real substance to it where it doesn't actually work, which is similar to what happened with the Obamacare rollout, except here it's a state. So I think the legal challenge here would have to be who has standing to do that. Would Congress come in, or would the Justice Department come in and try to recoup that money? And that's why you got to have an investigation to find out what happened. But
okay,
this is a serious problem. I hope it's not the tip of the iceberg.
And on that front, one legislator in that state has gone to the FBI. You have top officials resigning. Right. There's a state investigation in Oregon. And just yesterday, Republicans in Congress are calling for that federal probe. So if that happens, where does it go?
Well, then the Department of Justice could initiate a proceeding to get that money back if there was a misappropriation, if it wasn't done pursuant to the terms of the grant. And the people of the state of Oregon, I thought about this actually, citizens of Oregon, taxpayers may have some type of standing, although that's more difficult. But I think the reality is if in fact there's been misappropriation or malfeasance of some type, negligence, I think the federal government could come in and say we need that money back to the taxpayers because it was obviously not used the way it was supposed to.
Now specifically,
this is months and months later, so it's a serious enough problem now they need to get to the bottom of it quick.
Specifically, that's in Oregon, but bigger picture. You have, 16 different states set up their own exchange.
Yeah.
And you think this could be a much bigger problem. How so and where?
Bill, because we're not getting data. I mean, there's just not numbers coming forward. I mean, we get on a radio broadcast I host. People will call in. I've asked people, have they gotten a policy through the Affordable Care Act? Have they paid for premiums? And no one is. And I'm sure people have gotten them, but we're just not seeing the numbers. So my concern is that in addition to the problems in the federal exchange that have been so significant, that in fact the state exchanges, not in every state, but in some states, may be experiencing, maybe not to the degree of Oregon where it's zero, but the numbers are so low that it's going to throw the entire system out of balance. And you know what the real problem of this at the end of the day is? If the young people don't sign up in these states or through the federal exchanges, then the whole Obamacare, Affordable Care Act, whatever you want to call it, doesn't work economically. You know what? Not a lot of people are focusing right now on the economics of it. They're looking at what are the numbers. But those numbers relate to real dollars as to whether this plan will work or whether premiums are going to go through the roof.
Just to that last point here, then I've got to run, Jay. But if the numbers don't add up, if you don't have the young people enroll, and the math isn't there, what do you do? Because in the past, all Washington does is go out and find more money. I mean, isn't that ultimately what they would do here, or can that be stopped?
I'll tell you, I don't think you have enough money to fix it, Bill. I mean, you're talking about billions and billions of dollars. It's just not there. I think the president, he seems to be into using executive orders these days. Perhaps the executive order is going to be this didn't work and the bill's gone, and they reverse it just because, not because of political pressure, because the economics don't work out. That's the real fear here. Or then do they come back with a single payer system, which has been the fear all along. So there's a lot of ways it can go, but it does not look good right now as March is approaching.
Jay, we've got to run. Thank you much. Jay Sekulow out of Nashville
today.
Bill.
Thank you.
You bet.